Welcome, guys. The Other Geeks are back to record another review episode of Thor comedy and horror. I mean, Love and Thunder.
Thunder. You're not wrong there, though. You're not wrong.
So let's get started.
Let's go.
Five, four, three, two, one, zero.
Bro, honestly, like watching this movie, not saying that it didn't meet all my expectations. It was more of like it met some of them. You know what I mean?
Yes, I agree with you. I
Like
agree with you.
Like I wish Christian Bale had more screen time. Personally, I wanted to see more of the villain and
Right,
actually connect with the villain.
right,
But all we got to see was that short little snippet of him killing that god,
right,
getting the necro sword.
right. Taking the
Boom, that was
kids,
it. Yeah.
but but I feel you on that. Like I would have liked to see more of him because, in all honesty, every time he was like he came out, it felt like it was a different movie. Like we were seeing a part of a different movie. I'm like, wait, what? Like it didn't feel like it was the same movie.
Because I'm gonna be honest with you, it just felt like we are watching a romantic comedy with a little bit of suspense in the background. So like
Yes.
you have like Thor, like having like this weird connection with his hammer. Like, is he like in love? Like, yeah, baby girl, I got you,
And
and
the
then also
Stormbreaker.
trying to connect with like Jane, and it's just like, okay, man, like with the whole thing with Gore, like you came to Earth to help the people and
Right.
and fight Gore, but
Right.
like you went back and like, oh, I found the love of my life, my old
Right.
love of my life too, which is my hammer.
And that's the thing, like, because of those moments, because of, I guess, rom-com, you can say, um, it kind of overshadowed a lot of the gore moments.
Yeah,
Because
I
there'll be
agree.
there'll be a serious part, a suspenseful part, and Christian Bale did great. Like every time he was out there, I was like, wow, like this guy looks creepy as fuck, and I love it. But because of all that I mentioned, the comedy, the romantic moments, it took away from it. Like there'll be this serious part, and out of nowhere, boom, there's a joke, and I'm like, okay, well that just took away from what the fuck just happened.
Pretty much, yeah. Like I went in there thinking like, all right, we're gonna see like this all out battle between Gore and Thor because of like what happened in the comics, how
Right,
Thor had fought him before and got his ass whooped and then went back to fight him again.
right,
But like it just felt like they wanted to focus more on the comedy aspect of the
right,
movie and not the serious tone because there are times where Thor is very serious where he has to deal with life and death.
right.
But on here it's just like, oh, you know, um, let's joke around about this. Look at these annoying goats.
Ah! Bro,
Like
every
why?
time it sounded like the chicken from Family Guy. But yeah, I just feel like there wasn't a great balance. It was mostly like comedy, comedy, and then like serious parts were down here. Like there was no balance. Don't get me wrong, the funny parts were, they were funny, but then towards the end, it started getting a little old because I'm just like, all right, like I feel like they just weren't taking this shit serious.
It was almost as if like the movie was trying to be extremely like cheesy, and then you're over
Yeah,
here like there's parts you're like, haha, that's funny. Ha ha
yeah,
ha. Okay, that's
yeah.
good. There's a
Now,
few like laugh that you laugh really hard. You're like, ha ha ha, that show's hilarious, but
like you were saying,
nothing.
the goats, the first parts, I'm like, oh shit, this shit is fucking hilarious. And then still towards the end when it crashes on the moon, like, "Brr," and I'm just like, I like too much now.
Y'all can
Like, oh
stop.
yeah, you're overusing it, overdoing it. But we're not saying that the movie was bad. It wasn't a bad movie. It's just it had its flaws. Of course, of course it did, but it
Well,
could have been better. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, we're still talking about flaws here because when you mentioned flaws, another flaw was the fact that the movie was just too fast paced. So there'll be
Oh,
times, there are moments where they're trying to talk and have this connection, and then they'll jump to like a crazy scene. You're just like, what did they say? Like, I didn't understand what they said. I have to rewatch it to understand what they
yeah.
say.
Like I'll be there. I'm like, you were sitting right next to me. I was like, what the fuck they just said? Like, you were like, I was like, oh, okay. And then like it happened like so many times. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, because it was fast paced, and that's something that we actually were saying before we watched the movie. Since it was what, like an hour and 57 minutes, and we were like, I wonder if they're just gonna be like jumping right in from the get go and nonstop. Like no slow moments or anything like that, which there really wasn't.
No, it was all fast paced. There wasn't like any slow talking points. Like even the part where Thor and like Jane Foster are having that deep down connection when they're talking about their love life and what they want to do with their future. And it was just like, okay, so you guys are just gonna like try to move past this really fast without like anybody sinking into it,
Right.
like and taking that in.
And then those
But
parts happen, and you're just there like trying to like feel for it. You're like, damn, and then boom, another joke, and I'm like, come on, like,
yeah, like it just also felt like anytime that we saw Christian Bale, it was just a completely different movie.
right.
It was just
It
like
was.
you're watching one movie at one point, you're laughing, ha ha ha, ha, then you got the suspenseful stuff, and you're like,
I
is this the same movie?
Right. Like I wish that maybe, and I was just thinking maybe that would have added like 20 more minutes, 30 more minutes. Maybe we could have given Christian Bell a little more time or something. But um, it was definitely different because I understand that Ragnarok. A lot of people are comparing it to Ragnarok, but Ragnarok wasn't 24/7 like jokes. It had
Yeah,
its
we had
moments,
serious
but
moments. Yeah,
yeah,
we had the moments where Thor is dealing with his dad, and having to go get him.
yeah,
That whole part was like, okay, I really enjoyed the story building
right.
because we get to see Odin at his weakest. We get to see Loki and Thor connect with their dad
And that's another
as he passes
thing.
away.
This one was like the first one without Loki in it, and it kind of felt a little weird.
Yeah,
Like I miss the Loki and Thor moments. At least we got to see that. Thor has his tattoo and stuff like that, which a lot of people already has seen it in the trailers. But it was like the first time, like without Loki actually interacting with Thor.
yeah. So he was missed in this movie. Honestly, maybe that's the synergy that was missing in the movie.
Maybe,
Yeah,
but
like that's the only thing I have a feeling for. One thing too, Jane Foster, she was perfect. I just didn't like the CGI in her face whenever she was on screen.
right.
It just felt like she was wearing a mask, and I was
I
like,
mean,
"What is this?"
there was a lot of like wonky looking like CGI though in the movie. A lot. Like especially in the beginning when the god was about to kill Gore and whatnot. And I'm just like, wow, that looks really horrible. But now I'm just nitpicking. Like
Yeah, I mean, we are gonna pick it.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It is what it is.
But
You know.
I did enjoy Jane Foster as Mighty Thor. I'm not gonna lie to you, I am a little disappointed that we're most likely not gonna see her again as Mighty Thor because I was falling in love with Mighty Thor. I really was like with that character. I love her like whenever she was fighting, she had like this humor and cockiness to her, and I'm like, oh wow, I'm really enjoying this new Jane Foster basically.
Yeah, I loved it. Like she was perfect. The not only that her comedy was like good too, but just the fact that she also knew when to take it seriously.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And the fact that like you had this mighty Thor character appear and she's actually kicking ass, and her hammer
bro,
was amazing.
the
It
new
reminded me
ability.
of Scissor Seven. Yeah,
Yeah,
man, that was perfect.
it was great, and you start falling in love with this character, and I'm like, oh my god, like is this what we've all been saying? It's like a passing down the torch. Maybe we're gonna keep seeing her, as Mighty Thor for the next, movies, or for the next phases of the MCU. But then they kill her off,
Yeah,
and you're just there like, what the fuck? You're making me fall in love with this character that you're taking her away just like that.
Yeah, you build us up and now give us blue balls, you know.
Basically,
Yeah.
basically. And it turns out then the title for Love and Thunder, which I really thought it was gonna be basically based on them two, it kind of felt like it was more towards the little girl at the end, Gore's daughter.
I mean, that's where the love part comes. So you have to like love another child that isn't yours. And
Right,
he loves another child that
right,
isn't his. And the thunder was basically any time that you see Thor with thunder. And
yeah,
he gave the kids the Thunder Kids power, you
yeah.
know.
Which I thought that shit was a little crazy. I'm just like, see, I'm trying to take the Gore fight kind of serious, but you have all these kids
Especially the little
supercharged.
girl with the teddy bear, like like what?
The best way I can explain this movie, it was like a mixture of like a rom com, what can you say, like suspenseful,
A thriller.
a thriller, but then also a kid, a family movie, like a kids movie.
There's one that you could take the whole family and everyone would
Right,
enjoy it. The father would enjoy the action, the
right.
mom would enjoy the love, and then the kids will enjoy
It
the funny moments.
right. In all honesty, to me, it felt a little bit like it wasn't even like a movie. Like it was more like a special for some reason.
Thor Love and Thunder, the TV special.
That's what if I was like I started thinking about it. I'm like for some reason I'm like, why does it feel more like a special than anything else, like a gift, and like that we didn't really needed.
Like I knew also going into the movie that basically the Guardians weren't going to last that long in the movie. They were going to only
Right,
be in the beginning and then leave.
right.
But at the same moment, it's like, what happened to the Asgardians of the galaxy? You know, that was something that we were supposed to see in this, where we could see a whole like maybe like a 20-minute adventure of them just doing things together.
Right,
But now it was just like, yeah, I'll gift you my ship, and you have to look at the people you love in the eyes.
right,
Bye.
right. Like in all honesty, I'm the same way. I really thought we were gonna have like a Guardians of the Galaxy as Guardians of the Galaxy and Thor. That's what I thought the next movie was gonna be about. Like before the trailers and all that stuff. Like that's what I thought after watching Endgame or yeah, Endgame.
Endgame. Yeah.
Yeah. Like that's what I thought we were gonna see. And I feel like, bro, like now thinking back at it, like that would have been a really cool fourth movie, and this would have been a really nice fifth movie. Just ending the
Yeah.
story with Thor and the girl. Like I'm like, wow, like they could have literally done that too.
It's a missed opportunity, really.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah. And I
Um
also love the fact that the kids of the actors like Christian Bale, Chris Hemsworth, and Natalie Portman, most of them are in the movie and they play certain characters. Like Chris Hemsworth's daughter played Gore's daughter,
I, I
and it ended up with them being, kind of like a family at the end.
right. I thought that was pretty cool. And I can't wait for that. Um I know like I said that, I really miss that not miss. I really hate that they killed off, Natalie Portman, Jane Foster's character. But I'm also kind of
Yeah,
excited seeing what they're gonna do with Thor and Gore's daughter.
I can't wait. Really, like, you think she's gonna have like a big part in the next movie?
I really do feel like she is. I really do feel like they're slowly but surely transitioning for her to be like the next, like I guess you can say Thor of the MCU,
Like the kid Thor, yeah,
basically.
I can see that.
Like
I can
imagine
totally see
seeing
that.
her interacting with Kid Loki.
That'd be a lot of fun.
Exactly. I really do feel like I really want to see that. I really want to see that. So yeah,
Hopefully, they make it happen.
yeah. Because
Fingers
I'm
crossed.
really looking forward to just seeing like a father son for some reason I mean father daughter, which is actually father daughter like movie with them two, make in
I mean,
space and stuff.
I mean, technically, Gore was supposed to have a son, so it's a weird change to change it into female.
Yeah, but what else can we
Is there
say?
anything else?
Russell Crowe. That's what I want to say. Like
The beer belly armor.
beer belly armor.
You flick too hard.
I love his character though. I really did. Like I know we're like saying like damn there was like there was a way too much comedy, but like the way he's stepping down from the stairs on the podium and stuff, and he's like really flamboyant about it and stuff. I was just like finding it so fucking hilarious. But it was really how you say it, um you could read what like from seeing that scene that Thor like threw the lightning back and went right through Zeus. You can already
Like you
read
knew
it.
he was gonna catch it. Yeah, like you could see in his face when he threw it, and you're like, I bet.
Oh,
Like you saw it.
I was gonna mention the whole post credit scene with Hercules. Like even before that, remember we were watching the movie and I'm like, oh okay, I'm pretty sure this is gonna lead to like Hercules versus Thor or
Hercules.
something. Yeah, like and the post credit scene came out and that's exactly what it was. And I'm like, ah.
Yeah, he does need to bulk up though.
Well, yeah, but I feel like that's what the next Thor movie might be about, most likely. Or do
Yeah,
you think they're gonna do something before that that has to do with the Zeus and Hercules?
I think it's gonna be in the next Thor movie where they're gonna fight Hercules, and I think at that point the girl will be a little bit older now, and
Right,
then they can move on to the Young Avengers or the West Coast Avengers with
right,
her. Kind of like she's gonna stay on Earth and do something like that, and um, Thor will be off world fighting something, Hercules or something like that. So they don't want to bring the battle to Earth.
right. Yeah, because I'm thinking like, okay, well, if it's gonna be the next Thor, that's gonna take a few years. So, you know, you said the whole thing about bulking up, which you're right, but that will give the guy that time to kind of like bulk up.
Yeah.
Because other than that,
Um,
like the face and everything else, he reminds me of like Hercules. So all he has to do is just bulk up.
yeah. Another like rewarding like cameo was the stage actors from all the other Thor movies. Well, the second one, Ragnarok. So you had Matt Damon, you had Luke Hemsworth, and Sam Neill, and then this
Right.
time now we got Melissa McCarthy,
Yep.
and that moment was perfect. I remember like the Sam Neill part went over my head, and then I was like, wait a minute, that was Sam Neill. You know what I mean?
That's the thing. Like when I was watching it, I'm just like, is that the dude from Jurassic Park? And I'm like,
Yeah.
nah, nah. But I'm so glad that basically Matt Damon reprised his role. I was waiting
which
for that.
which he had a version of himself in the Deadpool 2 movie.
Oh, did he? Ah, it's been so long.
He was the redneck in the behind the truck with the fake nose.
Yes, yes. Wow. I love it. I love
But
when he does those cameos like that.
it's funny because I can't sit through one of his movies, like except for like anytime he's in Oceans.
Yeah, but in Ocean, it's like there's other people too. So
Yeah,
like he's not the only one. You know, Brad Pitt, George Clooney, Bernie Mac.
rest in peace. But we're getting a little off topic here. So is there anything else you want to say about Thor?
Um, no, I feel like that's it. I like what we said. I feel like it wasn't balanced. It wasn't a bad movie at all, but it just I feel like we went with really high expectations. At least
Yeah,
I did. You know.
yeah. My expectations were here because like Thor movies are hit or miss, and
Right.
obviously this one wasn't a miss, but it was like there.
Right. Like I just feel like after watching Doctor Strange and it wasn't where I wanted it to be. It wasn't a bad movie at all, but it wasn't where I wanted it to be. And then I'm like and then I saw the Thor trailer and I'm like, you know what? Thor might be the top movie this year for Marvel. So then I started like hyping myself up, you know, so that's my fault. And it didn't meet what I wanted.
But would you say it was better than Multiverse of Madness?
I'll say this: I'll probably watch it a lot more times than I would Multiverse of Madness.
You know, it's funny. I can't sit down to rewatch Multiverse of Madness. I could
Right,
rewatch the first Doctor Strange for
right,
some odd reason,
right,
but then Multiverse of Madness, I can't
right.
rewatch it.
And I'm not saying that it was bad because, like we said in our previous review, it wasn't a bad movie. It was a pretty good movie. We give it more credit than other people actually do, but I just can't rewatch it like that.
I feel you. And I already know, or the reviews for these are going to come out and they're going to say, like, oh, what the fuck is Marvel doing? This movie doesn't connect to anything. What's going on?
Woke,
Phase 4 is
woke,
a complete
woke.
mess.
The whole woke thing, they're gonna start. I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
With the whole thing with Valkyrie being bisexual and Korg's people
Court.
are all men.
Yep. Yep. It's like what the fuck do you expect? Like their species, they're all male. Like what the fuck? Like what you want them to do? Like
Exactly.
so
So what would you rate this movie?
this movie, like I said, it's not a bad movie. We are talking all this shit about it. We're just nitpicking. So like in all honesty, I'll give it a 7 out of 10 brewskis. Cause I can't say that I did not enjoy it. Cause I did.
It was a fun ride. You know
It
what I mean?
was.
Because I
It
give it a
was.
7 as well. It was a fun ride. It wasn't a terrible movie. It wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna get up, I'm gonna leave. This movie was pretty bad.
Right.
Nah, it was a fun ride. Didn't love it, but I did like it.
Same here. But now,
Yeah.
now that we're talking about that, what would you say if you would rank them? Like, what would you rank all the Thor movies?
So all the Thor movies started off with one. With one, I would rank it at a good 8. It was a nice like no yeah 8. It was a good like introduction to Thor,
Right.
and the fact of him dealing with him being unworthy and
Right.
then finding his worth throughout the movie was perfect.
Right.
Um, and then Dark Road, -50. It was just too boring, and the fact that the story was going nowhere with it. Ragnarok, that one's a solid 9,
Right.
just because of the fact the story and the comedy was perfect. And then
Yep.
obviously this one was 7.
A 7. Right. So
Yeah.
then, so basically, you'll say, uh, Thor Ragnarok, first Thor,
Or
Love and Thunder, and then Dark World.
yeah,
Because I fucking agree with you 100% in everything you just said, basically. After going back and rewatching like the MCU movies when I did, and rewatching the first Thor movie, I was like, yo, I fuck with this. Like, after rewatching it over and over again, like, I actually enjoy and appreciate and respect the movie.
I agree, because of the fact that for me personally, I hated Thor with a passion. Like I didn't want to watch the first Thor, the second Thor,
Right,
even the third Thor.
right.
And I was like, nope, I'm not going to watch it.
Yep.
Nope, never going to give it a chance. And then watching as I saw him grow in the MCU, and I'm like, wow, like maybe I should go back and watch them. And then I watched all of them, and I was like, wow, Thor is actually one of the greatest characters I've ever seen on screen.
Right.
And then after playing him in the Marvel Avengers game, I know it's a shitty game, but it was fun to play as Thor, and I was like, wow, this character is actually pretty awesome.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, he was. He actually was. Um
Yeah.
and then let's say like jumping to Dark World, bro, like I shit you not. I still remember that day that I was messaging you when I was watching the movie and I'm like, bro, I keep stopping it. Like I just can't. Like I'll go downstairs. I spent a whole day and a half trying to watch Dark World all over again because I just couldn't like get into it. There was some good moments, but overall, like that shit dragged like a motherfucker. Like I can't lie to you,
It did. It did drag like a
you know.
motherfucker, like a heavy drag.
Yeah, and then you have Thor Ragnarok, which I just feel like it was perfection. I thought it was great. I can rewatch that over and over, and it's one of my old times favorite MCU movies. So I just
That's
love
your number
everything
one
about it.
MCU movie of all time.
I didn't say that.
Is that what you're saying? We're gonna hold you accountable to
No.
that.
This just in. This just in. Um, but yeah, man. Excuse me. Yeah. That's basically all I gotta say. I it was a fun ride, and I enjoyed it. It had its flaws, it sure did, and we're always gonna nitpick a lot. You know, we're gonna always be those hard ass reviewers, but it was great. It was fun.
Yeah, I agree. Well, that was our review of Thor: Love and Thunder. Hope you loved it. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, and leave a comment because it matters to us and it matters to you too.
Mic drop.
Live long and prosper.
See you guys.